give it one more minute before we officially get started.
All right, so everybody have their houseplant nearby. We're going to talk a little bit today about invigorating our senses by connecting with nature's beauty. At the same time, once we have some awareness around these senses, then we're going to get onto our mats and do a little bit of yoga stretching and some RAD mobility so you can leave after this 15 minutes feeling lighter in the shoulders, rejuvenated, refreshed to start the rest of your weekend. So everybody grab your plant and bring it nearby. There's some practices called forest bathing. In Japanese, it's called shinjinroku. I might not have gotten that right in the pronunciation, but it's our way of appreciating and connecting with nature. So everybody take a look at your plant. This is one of my favorite plants in the office, and I've surrounded my little recording space here with the plants that live right around my desk. If you take a look at this plant per se, you might see how there's different kinds of green, lighter, and darker. And if you also notice, there are even some leaves that have multiple shades of green. So take your gaze to the plant and investigate each of these leaves. Look at their veins, look at their color, look at how maybe some of them don't look as healthy, or maybe potentially signs of new growth. Because spring is a time of that growth, stored energy from the winter time. Oftentimes we have the ability to set new goals and even feel rejuvenated or have this spring energy to bring us forward into the summer. So a couple of my favorite things to observe on this plant is that there are leaves that are damaged and don't look very good. But I also like to appreciate that plants, you only have to give it water and it lives in soil and it grows this vibrantly. And this plant actually has gone through a lot of movement here at the office. We've dumped it, it's fallen down, it's lost half of this entire plant and grown back. So it really gives me a sense of life force in nature. Now, you guys, take your plant to your nose. Don't hesitate to stick your whole nose onto the plant, onto the leaves. See if you can smell anything. I don't smell anything on this plant, but there are a few plants in our office that have a scent or an odor. And then here, for example, if you're outside, maybe you notice how sometimes when you're just sitting at the patio, you notice brief whiffs of grass, or if you have animals nearby or flying birds coming here and from, those sounds, you're instantly brought to the attention of what's nature and what's surrounding you. And this often gives us the ability to reset our perspective and drop all of the little things that are bothering us or issues that are nagging us minute to minute, day to day, person to person, even if you have children at home, especially in the last couple of weeks of social isolation. It's been really difficult sometimes to have time just for yourself, silence, quiet, and appreciating what's going on inside. So, did anybody smell anything interesting? Just wave your hand if you had anything, any smells. It's difficult to smell much from an indoor plant, but if you're outdoors, see what kinds of scents or odors come to you as you unconsciously observe. All right, now fingers. Go ahead and gently touch the petals, touch the leaves, maybe the stems that are rough and hard to support the plant. This guy's really young. All of these leaves feel waxy, hydrated. If you have ever noticed a plant that you've neglected, some of the leaves are dried up, crinkly, maybe starting to yellow. Sometimes I would say when I come and feel the different kinds of leaves here, the ones that are new growth, like for example, this little guy right here, is really tender. It even feels fragile, like I'm already being a lot gentler in its touch. So it's just our awareness and how we carry ourselves through the day as well. And then when I go and touch some of these older leaves that have been damaged and torn up, they have scars and dryness all around, but the leaf has actually maintained its life. So it's really interesting how powerful and how much life force there is in plants. And we are all parts of nature. So if we could nourish ourselves or continue to care for ourselves on all levels that we recognize that are needed, then our bodies will be best able to support and facilitate all of our goals going forward. But like Kayla, Lisa, and I, we were talking about just before everyone got on how sometimes we have really busy travel schedules. It gets sometimes difficult to pay attention to what your body is saying when there's so many pressing things going on. So I hope you enjoyed invigorating some of your senses to touch, to smell, and to see what you're seeing in color, and bring about this lens as you carry on through this weekend and maybe even through next week, and see if you observe the signs of spring. So a lot of you guys are based in the West Coast. I'm based in Colorado. It's still a little bit of snow here every morning, but you guys have spring already thriving. Sunny days, warmth, birds, animals moving around. So see what you observe compared to maybe what you don't see on a day-to-day. All right? Let's place your plant close by, either on your yoga mat or next to you, but out of your way so you don't drop them or kick them over, okay? I'm going to place my plant right here. And can you guys all hear me okay? Nod yes? All right, so we're going to start with a brief yoga warm-up of movement, and then we're going to be using the RAD tools for neck, shoulder, and upper back release so that we can release this slouch that we often feel. Okay, everybody ready? We're going to come onto hands and knees on your yoga block. On your yoga mat. Hands and knees, and we're going to do some cat-cows. We're warming up the spine. Deep breath in. Cat-cows are extending through your entire back, making a rounded upper back. Make sure you tuck your chin in, and then the other direction. Bring your head all the way up. A couple of these cat-cow movements, and make sure to be explorative. Find some side-to-side movement. Take your next 2 to 3 breaths to experiment with movement. And then we're going to get ready to add a little bit of a twist. So take your right hand up, add a couple rotations with your hand and wrist, bring it all the way above your body, and then we're going to bring it under our body and add a twist. I got a really lovely crack in my low back there. Deep breath in, side out, and then switch to the other side. Take your left hand up, rotate through your wrist, bring yourself open, your wide wingspan, and then tuck yourself underneath. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Come back to neutral, hands and knees. We're going to tuck our toes and bring our knees off of the mat. Make sure to engage your core so we're warming up the front body. And then we're going to slowly push up into downward dog. Adjust your hands and feet as necessary. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Take the next 2 to 3 breaths to explore movement. Bend the right knee, bend the left knee. Bring your weight over your wrist into a short plank. I promise we won't be here for long. Push it back into upward dog. Deep bend in the knees. Maybe feel less of a strain in your low back, and then push up straight into your downward dog. Full expression. Last breath in, last breath out. Shift your weight. We're going to get ready to raise our right leg. Raise your right leg high. Extend straight, and then we're going to bring it into a tuck. Bring your right knee to your right elbow. Engage your core, warming up your core. Extend back. Bring your right knee and tuck it close to your left elbow. Deep breath in, sigh it out, and push on back. Bring that leg right underneath us into a lunge, and then push up into a crescent lunge. Make sure your hips are straight, and if not, no worries, just feel comfortable. Slowly open up your gaze to the right. Open up your arms and face the right side of the room. Deep breath in and out. Come back to neutral. Bring your hands down. We're going to stick our right leg back up and then add a stretch through the front of the hip. Don't forget to breathe. Side out. Come back to your downward dog neutral position. Do you feel and observe a difference between your right side and left? We're going to continue. Raise your left leg high. Bring your left knee underneath and tuck it close to your left elbow. Deep breath in, sigh it out. Take it up again, push your left leg up. And then tuck it up right to your right elbow. Engage that core and then push on up. Left leg straight. And then we're going to bring it under ourselves into a lunge position. Deep breath in and slowly bring yourself up to crescent lunge. Make sure your back knee here is straight. Slowly open up your arms out to the left side, adding that twist in your spine. Squeeze your inner legs and glutes and bring it back to neutral. We're going to bring our hands down again. Push from your left leg out and then open up so that you have a stretch in the hip area. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Come back to downward dog. We're just gonna add a little bit more movement into our arms. Slowly bring your weight forward. Make sure your wrist is under your elbows. And we're going to do a push-up going down. However, if you can't do that, you can bring your knees down for a modification first, and then lower your body to the ground. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Place your hands under your shoulders and slowly engage your back into a Sphinx pose. Come on down. Let's try that again. Everyone put your forearms down underneath your shoulders now and extend through your back and lift your head up as high as possible, engaging and warming up the back. Deep breath in and out. Come on down. Place your hands to the sides of your body and then clasp your hands in your lower back. And this is going to be the last spine warm up. Now we don't have the support of our hands or forearms, and we're going to engage our entire spine and lift our chest off of the ground. So deep breath in and lift. Feel that stretch through your shoulders and the neutral spine in your neck. Deep breath in, and everyone come back down. Tuck your toes, place your hands right under your shoulders. We're going to add our push-up and bring us up, back up. If you need that modification, use your knees to support you. Otherwise, use your toes. Push yourself up into a plank position. If you came from the modification, go ahead and tuck your tails and come into plank. Engage the entire front side of your body and core. And then slowly walk yourself up into a seated position. Hopefully you guys feel warmed up here with that movement through all parts of our body. And we're going to get started with some quick rolling out. Everybody grab your muscle flushing kit. That's the rod and the helix. And let's check in with range of motion. Everyone check in with your rotation of your head. Turn your head over one shoulder. Deep breath in, side out. Check in with the range on the other side. Deep breath in, sigh it out. Come back to neutral. Bring your chin to chest. And then chin to sky. Notice how you might feel differences from front to back. Come back to neutral. Tip your head to each side. And just notice what you feel here. All right. Everybody ready? Grab your muscle flushing kit. You can take your hands and put it right around the handles gently. Take it behind the base of your head and skull. And you're going to flush up and down in the base of your head, top of the neck. Flushing is moving in the same direction of the tissues, and all of our spinal erectors that border both sides of the spine come from the tailbone all the way up our back into our neck and attach at the base of our skull. Turn your head over to the left side and drop your left elbow at an angle and flush right behind the left ear. This is the side muscles. This is the posterior SCM. These are muscles that support your neck rotation and stabilize your neck moving forward and back. And slowly flush through the center and now to the other side. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Breath is of utmost importance here. take your tools. Now, what is really easy is just to move the helix off of the rod a little bit and then take it right back here. Or you can take it entirely separately off. Pretty easy to work with in just the base of the skull. And now explore. This feels a little bit more precise. The rod is a solid steel core, a lot thinner than the helix. Tuck your chin or raise your chin to the sky. Notice how it feels differently. And now we're going to try a different technique. Instead of just flushing, moving up and down, you're going to stop, compress into the tissue, and gently move side to side. This is called cross fiber. So we're moving against the direction of the tissues. Slowly work through the center and then all the way over to the other side. It doesn't take a lot to feel big changes. So let's finish up and then let's check in with range of motion of our head, neck again. All the way over one side to the other side. Come back to neutral, chin to chest, chin to the sky. Don't forget to breathe. Come back to neutral and tip your head to each side. You should notice less pain, maybe less stickiness, and easier approach and movement at the end range. Maybe you also feel some warming up as well as less tightness or tension. All right, everybody go grab your rounds. These three here, we're gonna start with the green and blue one. Grab your green and blue round, and you're going to take both of them to your temples. You can totally close your eyes during this part here. Close your eyes, deep breath in. Let it go. We're adding a little bit of gentle compression to the tissues right around our head, and we're gonna gently move up and down or in circular motions. Play around with some of that. And then we're gonna move into and around the ear, all the way around the ear. This is the highest concentration of parasympathetic nerve endings. And so in that way, we can actually help ourselves drop more into the rest and relaxation, digestion part of our system. As most days and most times we do a lot of stressful things and find ourselves fight or flight in kind of a stressful mode, and also with tissue work. So if you compressed and it was really tender, or you held your breath, or it was so painful that you couldn't move, that's too much. So you want to back it off, ease into the tissue work. Deep breath in, deep breath out. We're going to move all the way around our ear now, all the way into the base of the head. When you're at home, give yourself a massage anywhere around here with any of the tools we just used. Take your round now and come right under the ear, compress, add some twisting movement. That's another kind of cross fiber shear. And then pin and lengthen. We're going to drag down the side of our neck. Another way of pin and lengthen is to pin right here, open and close your jaw. So we're pinning the tissue, adding movement, and that's what we mean by pin and lengthen. Take that green round now, hand across your heart, and we're going to flush it out right under the collarbone. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out, move slowly, and then we're going to slowly add some zigzag and some circular movements. Deep breath in, deep breath out. We're going to be switching soon here, so notice what it feels like on this side compared to the other side. Switch. You might have noticed I just jumped from left to right side. My right side is more tender, more sore, more tight, more holding. It is my predominant side, and I often have a one-sided bag. So this might be some cause to why just this side is so much more tender. So just some signs to maybe use this side, left side for some. How does that all feel, you guys? Great. All right. Let's see now. We're getting close on time. We have a couple other things we can do. I'm going to take the helix. Everybody grab the helix and let's get on our mats. Take it behind your head, base of skull. We're going to lay down on our back and then make sure to tuck your chin and raise your chin. Make sure your hands are right here on the side, holding the helix in place. I like to go, yes, yes, nod yeses and nod nos, side to side. You might hear your hair crackle quite a bit, but we also want to target the upper back for a little release. So this is just a little add-on in the neck. Everybody do a little sit up and tuck that roller right into the top of your upper back. Place your hands behind your skull to support your head and neck in neutral, and then push from your feet, lift your hips up just a tiny bit, and then slowly add a little bit of up and down movement. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Gently open up to the right side, open up your right elbow and gaze over the right. Add some flush. You might see how this can work right into the right shoulder blade, medial border of the scapula or your shoulder blade. And if you find that that shoulder is more tender or tense, you can sit your bum down and adjust yourself so that you can get yourself closer to the right side and be flushing gently on the shoulder blade. If this doesn't work for you, try this against a wall. Come back to neutral in the middle, and then maybe gaze over the left side. So give both sides a shot. Notice what feels differently on either side, and make sure when you go home or when you're at home doing this later or exploring different parts of the shoulder to try each side out. Don't forget to breathe. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. And we're gonna sit on up and see how everyone feels. Let's do a last check-in with range of motion. One side, other side. I have no tenseness or tightness anymore. Chin to chest, chin to the sky. Before, my left side was a lot more tight than the right. It's a lot less now. Tip to each side. And if you do some before and after photos to show your differences, you'll see quite a change. So hopefully we'll see you next week for the Anti-Fitness Fitness Club. We're going to add some intro to essential oils and aromatherapy, usages for cleaning, energizing, and rest. So feel free to DM us any kinds of questions, and we'd be happy to answer them in our next week's Anti-Fitness Fitness Club. See you soon, everybody.
So what makes the RAD Roller undeniably rad? Let's dive in and take a look. The RAD Roller is the most portable and versatile tool in our entire lineup, bar none. It's purpose-built out of eco-friendly medical-grade silicone, which means it's latex-free, it's rubber-free, and it washes and cleans super easy. The size and shape of the RAD Roller is very important and very specific to this area called your thoracic spine, which is just kind of a fancy way of saying the area of the spine in between your neck and your low back that connects to the rib cage. We're supposed to have a lot of rotation and extension, flexion movement there, but most people don't have that because they spend most of their time either sitting at their desk, sitting in a chair, and not actually getting that whole range of motion, which is kind of an issue because if you lose it here, you're kind of forcing it into other areas like the lumbar spine or the neck and creating possible injuries here and there. You end up with this kind of hunchback posture if you actually spend too much time sitting in chairs and whatnot and not getting that range of motion. And unlike a normal foam roller, the RAD Roller's size makes it uniquely shaped to fit in between the shoulder blades at a spot way up high in the back where people actually need a lot of extension. Bodies feel great when they're upright and aligned, and isn't that what everyone wants? Besides the back, we use these tools almost everywhere. The feet, the neck, the forearms. You're only limited by your creativity. Now the RAD rollers come in 2 sizes and 3 different densities. So the original RAD roller, which is the medium density, is where we recommend everybody start. It's a great all-around tool, but if you're looking to just specifically use it below the hips and down, the stiff is a great choice. If you're using it shoulders and above, we recommend a softer tool like the soft RAD roller. We also have the XL, which is slightly larger. This is great for either larger frame people, if you're 6'3" and above, or for normal folks, we use it on the lumbar spine. If you want to unlock a lot more usages out of the RAD roller, we recommend pairing it with the block. It's meant to store inside the block, but also it's meant for leverage into different areas that you can't really access with just the RAD roller alone, like the shoulders, adductors, and calves. You want to be able to access these muscles in a shortened state rather than kind of stretching out all the way to the floor, so the block's a perfect pairing to help you do that. And if you're curious about other ways to use the RAD roller or any of the other RAD products, the RAD mobility app's there for you. We've got hundreds of different usages that are available at your fingertips, and happy rolling.